Okay, Chris speaks here today with Senator Jack Williams from Mobile. Is that right, Senator?
Yeah, that's right. Mobile County. Yes, sir.
Mobile County. Okay, getting ready for a run for state ag commissioner. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. I feel like I've been running 2 years.
Yeah,
I've been out there.
I seen that, Senator. What made you get in the race so early? Try to hopefully.
Well, I mean, anytime you want to go ahead and announce, you can that you're going to run. When I knew Commissioner Pate could not run again, and I've talked to him a good bit, and I knew he couldn't run again, so I felt like the quicker I got out there letting people know I was going to run, for the future, it might accidentally, some people may not announce or do if they knew I was running. And I've had great results with, because I got out there so early.
I kind of like that right there. Be aggressive about the office. I mean, if you want it, you should go out and let people know you're a man for the job, right?
Yeah, I've been out there working it. Like I said, this summer since we got out of session anyway, we have really worked it. We've probably hit over 50 counties so far with different meetings, and actually have one today. I mean, and a lot of times it's very hard because like tomorrow I've got to be back in Mobile for meetings on Thursday, and then I've got a speech in North Alabama Thursday afternoon or at 6 o'clock. So we're on the road a lot. Some months we put over 5,000 miles on my truck. So we're not letting up, even though we know we're way ahead or feel like we are with the commitments we already got. We're still going to run like we're 10 miles behind anybody else that might come out.
So a lot of people don't really understand how important that job is.
Yeah, a lot of people, when you say ag commissioner, they think that's it. It's commissioner and industries. You're over so much other stuff from infectious diseases and animals down, with the chicken flu going on and all, and how many they've had to take out and euthanize, down to testing your baby food. We're testing all the foods in the state of Alabama. Um, Weights and scales. I had someone tell me the other day, said they were weighing their baby at a place, and they put it in that little bed looking thing sits on top of the scales. I don't know what you'd call it, but they're sitting there, and they sing Rick Pate's name on it. I said, yeah, everything has to do with weight and scales down to the little less than ounces of baby medicine to 100-pound sack of feed. Is run by the state through there. All your seed testing to see the quality of seed. All, like I said, they may go to a grocery store and pick up 3 honey buns that somebody says they hadn't been the right size or not weighing this right or whatever. I've been and they pick them up and test them. Anything that's going to be tested. I mean, it's just so much goes on out there. It is unreal, and I started studying on it a good while back. Um, because I knew I had the qualifications to be it. I farmed all my life. We are one of the largest. We are the largest nursery in the state of Alabama. Uh, 19th in the nation is our business, and my son runs it completely and has it completely. My grandson runs the cattle farm, so we've been very blessed to get out there and be able to work it this early and try to explain to people what all goes on out there. I even started taking the senators 2 years ago and House members out there because they didn't, most of them know all the stuff that actually happens out there and how many people work out there and how important it is, and we've kept up with it. We know that our COVID money is running out. We were very fortunate, we got big money from the federal government to loan out to slaughterhouses, and all that money comes back into the state here as it's paid back. But we got a lot of small slaughterhouses back up and going, and to kill our local beef because we had the local beef during COVID and everything else, but we couldn't get it killed. You were a year out getting one killed, and if you got a 1,100 pound prime steer to kill and you hold him another year, you know what it would be. So this has been very helpful because we are getting more and more people that's wanting to eat Alabama grown stuff and stuff they know it's in, what's in it. I passed a bill this year on lab grown meats. We are the second state. Florida beat us. It was my bill, but Florida beat us by a week putting it out, copying mine. And then I passed ours, of course. and got all kind of. We even got death threats. To be honest, you would not think that. The law said on. They gave out my address at home on my farm, and they stayed on it. The state troopers stayed on me and my wife up here because they described how they was going to kill me and what they was going to do. It didn't scare
Wow.
me, but you have to turn all these death threats in, but over
Right.
lab grown meats, I mean, something that's made out of nothing. But it's a big push in California is where all the money come from. They actually hired a lobbyist here that fought that bill. They came down themselves and said they would spend $1 million against me in my campaign if I pursued it. And of course, we did pursue it. We passed it and the governor signed it. So there is no lab grown meats to be sold in Alabama or made here. The only exception we made, I went back and made one exception to let NASA test this stuff for outer space. But other than that, we're on our own, and
That
we
just sounds
passed some good
disgusting.
bills. I'm always for the farmer, of course. I passed a bill to take away the taxing on fencing, up to $25,000 for one owner per year, and 50. If you got two or three owners, you can get more. 25 for every one of them. But it will help our young farmers big time. We've lost like 32% of the farmers in the state farmers in the state of Alabama already. Nationwide, it's only 20%. We've lost more than most other places. But like I said, we have prepared ourselves for this. We've pulled records up. I mean, we are ready to walk in and take over and start running this thing when
It
we get in
sounds
there.
like it.
And having and just having the credentials of being in the Senate, the House, and in the Senate, which, like I said, I've been blessed to do. That gives me privileges from now on the rest of my life to walk on either one of them floors at any time I want to. So my relationship with all these people that's in there, and a lot of them been there a long time, and they're going to be there a long time. My
Right.
relationship with them gives me the opportunity to go in there because we know our COVID money is running out, and we're going to have to ask for more money for ag. It's going to happen any programs we do, and this gives me the opportunity. I don't have to have just a lobbyist in there. I can go over and talk to my friends, and I don't know. In the Senate, bills are good and bills are bad, but relationships carry you farther than anywhere in there.
Right. Right.
The friends you make, relationships.
Tell me, Senator, I see all often that whenever you go into a restaurant or something, about our catfish is grown here in the
Yeah.
Alabama and Mississippi's. I think one of the top two in the nation or world is producers.
We're second in a second, but we did when we passed bills that they have to anywhere fish is sold or seafood. Actually, now you have to any restaurant or anywhere, or if you're buying it in the grocery store, they're supposed to present where it comes from, the origin it comes from, because our catfish are grown in ponds and are clean, and the catfish they're bringing in from overseas. Uh, People would just be amazed by how they're grown. They're grown in ditches. They're grown in
Yeah, yeah.
over hog pens that everything falls through with slats, and you know, you just don't know what you're getting.
Do we
But,
have many that's what do we have to worry about like which restaurants are getting these fish out of
well,
Vietnam?
you did, but now you can actually look. Like I said, they're supposed to have it posted. If they're not,
Okay.
somebody needs to call in and tell us something, or we can get it done. Because it's a big deal to post it. I mean, that's one thing I hope I can come in and do is help the seafood industry on the Gulf Coast because in Mobile, we had 4 shrimp boats in the parade this year, and 2 of those are closed down. They just rode them out there. Uh, they're buying these shrimp so cheap coming in that our shrimpers and stuff cannot make a living out of. They're selling for the same thing they sold for 20 years ago when diesel fuel has went up 8 times.
Oh wow.
And there's just no way for them to make a living. You can go down there and buy shrimp off the boat so cheap it's pitiful. It's just and we're just putting our own stuff out of business. By not,
Well, I didn't know about the stripping.
yeah.
What's any idea what's drove the market down so much on it?
What's doing what now? I'm sorry.
What's driving the market on the shrimp price? That's making
All these shrimp coming in, they're selling them so
oh,
darn
okay.
cheap. I mean,
Got
you
you.
go.
All the shrimp coming in.
I mean, as far as going to Sam's or Costco, look at that.
Uh,
They're beautiful shrimp, but look at where they come from. You know,
ah,
same way you go to buy crawfish. I mean, you'll have Louisiana crawfish, and then you're going to have China crawfish. You got to look at it, see where
Oh,
it's coming from. You know,
I-
um, when I was walking through the test station, that's one of the things I told him. I said, "Well, you know, I like this whitefish. I can come in and lay me out. I can buy a case of it at a time. Come in and lay it out." They said, "Be careful. Don't eat that. You know, that's not wild catch and stuff. You know." So they opened my eyes on that even. Because me and my wife, it was easy to come in and take a quick froze fillet out and just let it sit there 10 minutes, unthawed, and panay it. And, you know, we had something to eat real quick.
right, yeah. Yeah, I didn't realize that. Uh, is this something that I guess doesn't make the news as like it should for
Do what
people?
now? Does it make it?
Yeah,
Well,
someone
you
put on the
just,
news.
yeah, you just don't know what's in it or where it's coming from if it's not wild catch or grown here. I mean, that's basically the whole thing.
But you answered one question I had for you pretty good a while ago when I was going to ask you about what kind of qualities you bring over from the, being a legislature, and you said the relationships was important. I guess in being in this position too, you kind of have a commission relationship with your fellow commissioners throughout the nation.
Oh yeah, well we only have you have a relationship with all of them. I've been trying to connect with some, but I think we only have the ones that really stay together, as Commissioner Pate it says, is the ones that are elected. Because the appointees, the governor can change anytime, and the governor appoints them. And I think you have about 12 or 13 somewhere in there that are elected. So
Okay.
that group stays together pretty good, you know, and they talk a lot.
Has there been any other candidates in this race yet, or is it so far still just you, Senator?
Yeah, I know it's just me. I've heard there's somebody in North Alabama may come out, but I really, like I tell them, I never pay no attention to anybody else that's running. I don't mention their name. I don't do anything. I attend to my race and run on my who I am and what I've done.
And you said you've already given 50, 60 something speeches so far.
Yes, sir. Oh yeah, yeah. We got two or three more this week, and then then we got a lecture with forestry, and then we come back up and start next week. I mean, we've got it booked up till session, and then we'll have them on the weekends and stuff during session. You know,
Now, is this type of race that you'll see a lot of fundraising, or just certain
you,
groups of interest?
yeah, you'll have a lot of fundraising, most definitely. We've already got a lot of commitments. We can't take money yet for sure.
Right.
But we have hired our whole team, that's going to run the campaign. Paul Sashi and John Gray from Mobile. We've hired our fundraiser, which is Elizabeth Williams. We've hired our person that's supposed to be doing all the something on me every day, whatever you want to call that.
The
Media
PR
person,
person,
yeah.
the media rights person.
I mean, we have hired we've already being out there as long as we was, we've already got our team put together, ready to roll. We've already had one big meeting, and we will have another one Tuesday on Skype with everybody. Thursday, I'm sorry, and stuff. So I think we're working on it. We're printing literature. We're where we're supposed to be.
So, when did you actually decide to get in this race?
Well, I actually decided 2 years ago that I
Okay.
knew I was going to run. I knew Commissioner Pate, and I'm sorry I call him Rick, but I do to his face. I don't mean no no disrespect. Um, but when I knew he couldn't run again, that's when I started figuring, looking at it, and knowing I was going to run for it.
How
Right? And so we've had the opportunity to work the senators really good, and not all my meetings, the majority of them, we have a senator introduce us or a House member that knows us well. And
mm-hmm.
I think that relates with the community real good because they know them real good. And when they tell them, we're supporting him and he's been one of the most honest guys we've ever met. Because when I give my word, it's my word. I mean, I really take that seriously. And they'll tell you in the Senate that if I tell you in caucus meeting that's where I'm going to be, you don't have to come back and ask Jack Williams. I'm going to stay right where I'm at. You don't have to worry about me. Don't keep calling me trying to get me to do something if I've already told you yes or no, because that's where I'll be.
How long have you been in the Senate?
I was in the House one term. This is my second term in the Senate. So basically, I've been in the Senate 6 years. We still like this term. One week, we still like two more sessions. So, um, but I've gave 10 years of my life up here already. We'll be 12. And like I said, and I couldn't have done it without my kids doing all that what they do. I've been very blessed.
So, with this type of position, I mean, a lot of importance behind it. Does could we see a Senator Williams, maybe a Governor Williams one day, or?
I have no desire to be. This is what I know, and and I know I can do this job. Uh, and I'm getting older all the time. So if I can get 2 terms in here, I will be well satisfied, and I will feel like I've gave a lot back to the state of Alabama. Because I do believe I have something to give back to the state. I know I have something to give back to the farmers. I know when I start speaking, the first thing I tell them, and it's on one of my push cards I just had made, I'm one of you. And I said, when I tell you my life story of where I started out and how me and my wife fed 250 sow operation, we run a cattle operation, timber, row cropped, done it all until we just looked up, going to diversify more and bought a nursery, 40-acre rundown bankrupt nursery in 86. And, and what it became a 160-acre nursery before we bought one of the largest nurseries in the state of Alabama out, which was Tom Dodd Nursery in 2004. We bought it out for several $1,000,000. And I'm not bragging. I don't want that published, but then
Sure.
my son has bought several more since. So, like I say, that joined us there. We have 3 highways that run through the nursery, and then what they call Children's Road runs up the other side. I mean, it is all very valuable land now, of course, because it's in the middle of a town in Wilmer, but or in Sims. Uh, but like I say, we love it. That's what.
You're a self-made man. I mean,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm probably the only senator that I know of that has CDLs and all. Because, like I say, when we started, I'd drive a truck, I'd deliver plants everywhere across the country, and she'd stay there and run the nursery. But yeah, we've been very blessed. We've worked for what we got. Don't get me wrong. I mean, we've worked hard for it, but we've run days without sleep. But me and my wife both. But it's paid off. You know,
so this is an important position. Like I guess, kind of comparing it to like the our state treasurer. You need somebody who's a farmer. Like you need somebody who's a
well,
banker, like a young
yeah,
Boozer.
and I'm one of the first farmers that's ever run for it that's actually farmed for a living. I went through the Jimmy Carter days with interest rate up so high you couldn't. You know, uh, Great man, wasn't that good with the farmers, and it was rough on us when he was in there. And I watched so many of my buddies get put out of business completely during that time because he was paying 21% interest, on some big loans, and it's hard to make that up. If a crop's even good, it's hard to make that up. The only reason and I relate with all the farmers because when I was running hogs, everybody ran hogs in the state of Alabama then if you farmed because it wasn't a year in, year out, they made money. But at the same time, every week we shipped a big load of hogs because we ran so many. We had 3,000 basically on feed at all times. So we were shipping every week. That gave us a check. You had a cash flow coming in every week, even if it wasn't making money. It was a cash flow coming in. And then, like I say, you may go for that for 2 or 3 months, and then they made good money But year in, year out, they made money, and that's why all the farmers had hogs. And so, when I go to talking to these farmers, if they didn't have them, they're dead, and they still have the hog pens there. So that goes with a good connection. They know I've been there and done that. And what we done. So,
So you said Alabama's lost 32% of their farmers
yes,
over
sir.
over
Over the
12.
last few years, I'd have to get the statistics down, but I know we've lost that many. Um,
You start with the Biden administration, or
yes, and like I say, it's hard for some of them. I mean, if you're a young farmer going into it, he can't stay in it because right now our crop insurance it does not pay enough to cover your crop. even if you had a full disaster and lost it, it still does not pay you enough. And that's why this farm bill coming up is so important, that we make
Mm.
a lot of changes in it. But a young farmer cannot go borrow the money. Most likely, he doesn't own the land. He's leasing land. He's having to buy his equipment and stuff if he doesn't share it with somebody. These days the equipment's so big, a lot of farms are sharing some equipment, with each other, buying a combine or a cotton picker or whatever. But he cannot go borrow the money from the bank because he does not have the collateral. That will not cover his crop. So that makes a bad thing. And a lot of times it's still hard to make it, even if you give them the land and all. I mean, like my grandson, I mean, he doesn't have anything in the cattle or anything, and it's still hard to make a living when your fertilizer prices are where they're at, and if you're doing everything right. It's very hard to still make a living out of it, and you're still not going to make. You go to steel mill at home and go to work and make $80,000 first year. Within 4 or 5 years, you're going to be making 100 to 120,000. We got kids coming out of school making over 80,000 that they're training in the high schools, their first job. You're not going to do that farming. There's no way to do it, and you've got to want to do it, and then you factor in the price of your insurance to buy for health insurance. A young one cannot afford it, even. So we've got some stuff coming forward on that too that we hope we can pass.
Oh yeah, the health insurance, if he had a wife and family, there's no, probably a couple $1,000s a month. Just
Yes, and if we get our bill through, Alpha's going to have a bill that's a health care plan. Tennessee's had it for 40 years. Of course, Blue Shield is dead against it, and stuff. But it would cut it in half or more, way over half. The problem is they're going to have if we ever get it passed, they're going to have a big problem with school bus drivers because all these farmers, wives and farmers, some of them have had to go to work driving a school bus to keep insurance for the family. So,
mm,
and it's a big factor because usually your farm family, your wife lives there, is on the farm raising the kids. It was a different lifestyle way back.
hmm
And
yeah,
now we can't, everybody has to work. I mean, that's just, the way it is.
yeah. One paycheck used to take care of four people. Now it's
Yeah.
two paychecks taking care of one
And we
person.
and we've got people that are just, I mean, their house note is half of what their insurance is. So, and that's the truth. I've looked at them. I mean, I know. So, and that's some of the things we want to try to help with, try to get more people into farming. I mean, we've got the sweet grown Alabama, and our schools are a lot of schools are taking advantage of it. We pay 20 cents a plate through the ag for if you have one product that's grown in Alabama on your school plates every day, you get 20
Mhm.
cents a day. If you have two, you get 40. And that's paid from us and the federal government. The Senate come in and put so much up, ag put so much up, and now the federal government put a big bunch up like through COVID. But we're getting Alabama products on school plates and and stuff, and that's keeping it at home. You get a product out of Mexico, anything you get is going to be that's coming in is usually going to be 15 days old before it gets on a plate.
Mm.
You know, we're picking product that's on the plate within a day. So it's got to be good for our kids and healthy, and we just got to get more food in the program, and we do have a lot of farmers doing that.
Well, Senator, I know you said you get your car fixed, window fixed on your
Yes,
car.
well, they're out front putting window in it. They came to the house to do it.
Okay. Um, so you said some time here. I don't want to keep you too much longer. I think you answered all my questions. Is is there anything else you think you should want the voters to know about Jack Williams?
Well, but I am dedicated to what I do. I give 100%. This is a dream come true to be able to run. I would have never thought as a little country boy coming up washing hog pens and all this stuff that I would ever be where I'd be in this position. But God's gave me that opportunity, and we're going to give it 100%, and they can count on me.
Uh, so I guess this is kind of you said talking about being from Mobile. He said he had a meeting in North Alabama with what 65-70% of the voters being above Tuscaloosa. That's got to be tough.
Yeah, I think it's 64, 65%. Yeah.
Being above Tuscaloosa have to run to North Alabama um, a lot. But it seems that Baldwin County is really booming down there too.
Oh yeah, Baldwin County, and we've worked every county just about, but we've worked North Alabama extremely hard, and we will have signs going up on grain bins and everything else. Uh, we have worked it really hard. The speaker gave me a really good dinner up there, invited the movers and shovers on that right up on that end, and I've had a lot of them. I've met a lot of mayors. I've met a lot of county commissioners, judges. I've toured a lot of farms, learned more about chicken than I ever thought I could because we don't have chicken houses and all. And, that's a big area for laying houses and the chicken houses and stuff. So I've learned a lot about chickens, and I think I've got a lot of backing that way. Well, I'm sure I do. So,
Um, let me ask you one question before we go, because I've talked to somebody about this the other day, and if they ever get the medical marijuana thing worked out, would that fall up under regulating by the agriculture commissioner too?
no, sir, it does not.
Okay.
Right now, it does not. They may one day, but nobody wanted anything to do with it. In fact, I voted where Rick would not have to because he asked me to make sure. So, so I voted because of him. I did vote for that, but it may come back there one day. Who knows? We hadn't got it worked out where it's done do anything yet. So.
Well, shouldn't I mean somebody I was telling us before are the states getting ahead the horse ahead of the cart? Because as long as it's still illegal under federal government, that that's is that counterproductive?
Well, it kind of is. We were hoping well, a lot of states are trying to pass it before the federal government come in because they're scared the federal government will do it one day and, have it in every state and they'll control and they'll bring people in to grow it or they get to pick. And that's why Alabama was trying to, I don't think we'd ever legalize it for social recreational use, you know.
Here's what the federal
But
government's to
it's,
stay out of.
yeah, but it's a big step when you can pass which I voted against gambling and because Alpha is dead against gambling. But at some point it's going to pass, and that's what I say. It's pretty sad when we can pass marijuana in the state of Alabama and we can't pass gambling. But it's amazing. I know a lot of people that had cancer, and I had people in my church coming to me to pass the marijuana bill. I mean, it was unreal. And I've went to that church. I mean, they know me well. I've been going there. I got married there 50 years ago, and and I still go to the same church. We just grew in size and built a new church and everything else. But that was one of the biggest questions I was asked the whole time. When are y'all going to pass legalized marijuana for illnesses? And you see what it does for a lot of people.
Yeah, yeah, it
Actually,
doesn't.
they didn't have a meal with their family if they got cancer. We see what it does for seizures. I mean, it's just a lot of good things.
I've heard people with their problems with their eyes, and then people with depression and people with PTSD. That
Yeah,
yeah, I mean,
that's
I,
what I say. So it is a need for it. And it's a natural substance. So I mean, I'll be glad to see it when we get it on the market.
yeah, I just because hopefully it'll take away from these. I don't know what they're doing in these gas stations or the stuff they're selling there, but I mean, it's like
It's kind of like the gambling. You can get it anywhere you want it, and you can do the same thing in the state of Alabama with the gambling. And you can go buy lottery tickets right here out of Montgomery. I mean, we all know that in the Senate, and that's one big thing that's kept it from passing. You got to get all that shut down if you're gonna give that away, which we are millions of dollars. It's not being taxed, and there's a lot of gambling places, and if we can get them shut down, it would actually help pass the bill. Once we start shutting them down.
why. And I love Alpha. I just had to use them on insurance claim the other day. Yeah, but why are they so against the gambling?
Alpha, their leadership on the committees have all voted against gambling, and that's it. I mean, I talk to them regularly. Believe me, you know. Uh, I was and I hate to say it, but I mean, I was the vote that killed it. I was the very last vote, and it was if I'd have went yes, it would have passed. If I went no, it didn't. And I gave my blessing on it that I would vote no to them early on. I met with the governor, explained to her why I was voting no, because they did try to get me to switch my vote. But they all knew, like I say, in caucus every time we met and we took counts on it and stuff, they would tell you quick. They ain't no need worrying about Jack. He's already said he's no, and we know he ain't gonna switch. So
I can
yeah,
respect that.
Well, your word's all you got in life. Me, you, anybody. Once you go back on your word or you don't do, and that's what I told the governor. I said, if I took what some of the stuff y'all were offering me to switch, you would never trust me again because you know I could be bought. They
Yeah,
could never trust me again because they know I'd sell out. So I said,
yeah,
I got to be where I'm at. But
yeah. We need more politicians like that.
well, I have nothing to gain out of nothing when I ran. I mean, I won my first race because people asked me to run, and I won it with 93% of the vote with three people in the race. So,
93%.
yes, sir. I
Man,
want
that's
it. But I was asked to run. It wasn't something I always supported politicians. I was not one. We done cookings for them and stuff to get them elected. But I've enjoyed it, and I've enjoyed what I've brought back to my people. It's totally out of my character. I owned one suit to go to a funeral in, and that was it. And
yeah.
I mean, really, it's totally out of my character. But I've enjoyed it so much; it's unreal. I just enjoy giving back to the people because I've been blessed. Been
Yeah,
blessed.
because we see at a time now. I mean, they're I wrote on some of this a while back where politicians they're wanting more and more and more. I mean, we just seen that they tried to pass Congress give themselves a $6,000 raise a couple of
Yeah,
weeks.
and I don't think the people in the state of Alabama realize that we get no insurance from the state. We get no retirement from the state, and we don't make no big money. We're in the $50,000 range, and as much
Yeah,
traveling as I do and all, I blow that because I don't usually put in for travel on nothing but driving from Mobile to here. We get it every week when we're in session, but you know,
yeah.
but
This
I'm
what 49,000. I remember one time y'all was only making like 30 or something
yeah,
thousand dollars.
it's like 46, 48. We're not quite $50,000. So that's what I say. They don't realize. I mean, we're not. we we don't get anything. You got to really want to do it. You know, you better have another good job or retired.
Yeah, it ain't like it's
Yeah.
it's been a while since y'all had one too. Well, so we're gonna keep where are you meeting at in North Alabama?
Where's my next one? Thursday, Bobby. I'm gonna get her to look at the calendar. I think it's just
Yeah,
Coleman.
do you have like press
Having
releases and stuff?
do that now.
Do you have like a press releases you send out?
We will have. We hadn't been sending them out. We've had
Okay.
some. Well, Yellowhammer's had some articles on me, but yeah, it's still early and stuff. We're just getting out there. We've been getting out there good, but we're just actually we're at we're going to Clanton. I'm sorry, I thought it's Clanton County is Thursday night.
Clanton County.
Yes. Uh, like I say, we go wherever they invite us, which we've been very fortunate. Young Republicans have been really good at inviting us and stuff. And so I'll get them working. They do a lot of work and they really get out there and beat the bushes.
Do you know Greg Armstrong in Blount County?
I've heard the name and I know him. I just don't know him real well.
Okay, so he is um the revenue commissioner up here.
Mm-hmm.
I've known him, God, 40 years ever since I was a kid. He's the czar of Blount County politics, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
So he would probably be a good one to make
Mm-hmm.
Facebook friends with or reach out to up here
Yeah.
in that part. That you know probably help you here in this area. Um, I don't know anybody from
We're
Columbus.
willing to meet with anybody, anywhere, anytime. This Jack Williams. This is the first year I have not went deer hunting to my own hunting place. I have a good bit of land behind my house, and my hunting lodge is up in the middle of it. And I have not sat in a tree this season, and I've always killed deer. I just, you know, I've been fortunate though. I've got to watch a little 6-year-old kill his limit, and maybe one of his daddies even. So that's what I enjoy watching. We've skull mounted them all for him. They have and all. So that's my. We have been very fortunate, and I hate to go into this, but I mean we've been very fortunate with our land back to even my dad and granddad. When my granddad died, we had 18 game wardens escort the funeral. We got one section of land we don't allow any hunting on. It's always just been there to grow deer. We raised the first wild turkeys in Mobile County. We got the eggs from Boykin Management. We hatched them off, and I was small then, but we hatched them off. Uh, Built the big cage up in the woods, way up in the woods, and raised them right there, and then let them out, and that's what stocked the turkeys down in our area. So, we've always been well known for that. If the state confiscated deer or something, they knew we had a place they could bring them in, turn them loose because there was no hunting allowed, and just been real close with a lot of organizations like that we work with.
Um, deer, is there have you heard anything about an overabundance of population this year? Because man, I see them on the side of the road, and I mean, every day two or three are hit. It seems like I haven't seen that many in the past few years.
Yeah. I don't know. We've always, when I was little, we didn't have many deer. But later on, by the time I was 20, we took 200 does out one year. They were eating our soybean fields up. I mean, it was just unreal. The state, came in and looked at them and said, you need to take at least this many out.
Okay.
And for my dad and them, that was really tough because they uh, had never shot a doe. I mean, he come up in the depression, and if you seen a deer track, you wiped it out, and where nobody else would get on it, and you got a dog and put on it, and you tried to kill it.
Oh, food
I
was
hear
that
those kind of stories, from way back. And like I
really?
say, I can even remember the first year we killed $5. That was the talk of the country. Williams has killed $5 this year, and then it progressed, and then all of a sudden you got 10 more years down the road, the Williams has killed over $100 this year. But that's off of 10,000 acres of land that we own and lease a bunch of. That's all we've always had, and it's just right out our back doors, and we control it. And so and now we're back to nobody wants to kill them, and we let the kids shoot a lot because we don't. All of us done got older, and we could care less about shooting one. My family, and we kill enough to eat or something, but that's about it. And we do eat a lot of it.
And Brent Woodall?
Brent Woodruff. Doesn't ring a bell right
He
off the bat.
ran for public service commission last time against Jeremy Oden.
Okay.
He used to be he was Commissioner Beaker's
Yeah.
chief of staff for a while. He's
Okay.
he's a DA up in Colbert County now.
Mm-hmm.
He may run for office again next time. He would be a good person to
All
make
right.
contact with too.
Anybody you think I can make contact with, I would love you to text me all them names.
Sure, I will do that. I will do that too. And there's another journalist up here too. You may know. Well, I say it. He is a he's a journalist. Brandon Mosley. Do you know Brandon?
Oh, I've heard the name, but no. I mean,
Yeah, I'll text you all these names. These are people. Brandon, he's kind of over the Gazette. I think he used to work for Paul some with the Yellowhammer News, but
okay.
one that I'll get in touch with, and I'll send you his email too, and you reach out to him and see if do an article or what have you with him.
Yeah.
But it'll be a good one. But yeah, I'll send you those names, Senator. Hey, it's been great talking to you. And I'm going to keep you more because I'm a busy man.
Good talking to you. And if you can send me any of your sites you're going to put anything on, I'd love to look at them too.
Yes, sir.
Anything I can look it up on or anything.
Yes, sir. Be glad to see you all that.
If I can watch it, I know what I'm doing wrong.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Uh-huh.
All right.